Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, we're going to be talking about Marc Bernal because he has renewed his contract with Barcelona. Fantastic news for the club. And as well, Barcelona, they have released a statement talking about their financials and talking about the budget. We're going to be looking at that, looking at some of the highlights from Barcelona's official statement. And lastly, we're going to be looking at Hansi Flick's words ahead of the match, ahead of our Champions League match against Young Boys. But guys, before I get started on the video, make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Everything's posted down below in the description. Go over there and check me out. That way you guys can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. But guys, let's get straight into the video. All right, guys, let's get straight into the video and let's talk about Marc Bernal, who Barcelona, they have released an official statement stating that Barcelona and Marc Bernal have reached an agreement to adjust his contract, which will bind him to the club until June 2026, when his time as a youth player will end. Marc Bernal renewed for an additional 3 more years, and his release clause is set at 500 million. Now we did know that this was coming, after that injury that Marc Bernal suffered at the start of the season, which he did tear his ACL. Barcelona, as a sign of support, they did want to renew his contract, saying that, hey, when you do come back from your injury, Barcelona, we're still going to be here. We're still going to be supporting you, and we're eager to, await your return. And it was a fantastic, show of support and everything. And Marc Bernal renewing, it's absolutely great news because, Marc Bernal, he was having an amazing start to the season. Marc Bernal, he is able to come back and is able to basically grow and develop as a player and show those early performances and those early signs in the opening couple matches of the season. Then Barcelona, they could have an absolute gem on their hands in that pivot position. And absolutely fantastic that we have tied Marc Bernal for a couple more years. But now, guys, I'm going to be looking at the official statement from Barcelona, in which they did talk about the budget. They mentioned various things about the budget and everything, and this is Barcelona's official announcement. The FC Barcelona Board of Directors met today in an extraordinary session to approve the closure of accounts for the 2023-2024 fiscal year and the projected budget for the 2024-2025 season, both of which will need to be approved by the club's delegate members at the ordinary General Assembly. During the meeting, FC Barcelona President Joan Laporta wished to stress that the club has managed to halt the economic decline of recent years and confirmed the forecast of positive ordinary profits, 12 million euros, as reported at the meeting of the Barca Senate on June the 12th and in his press conference on September 3rd. The key highlights from the 2023-2024 fiscal year: new all-time sponsorship revenue, record more than 210 million euros, record turnover of the merchandising subsidiary BLM, Barca Licensing and Merchandising, of nearly 110 million, a 72% increase on 2018. Now, guys, there's a whole bunch of more reports talking about and more highlights and everything. If you want to see the whole report, I will be posting it down below in the description. But as I'm just going to let you know, like, the key, aspects, because I don't want to keep you guys here for too long and basically bore you guys with all the details. But the important thing to know is that Barcelona, they have, been financially recovering these past couple of years. And as well, the club has reached a positive ordinary result of 12 million euros, as I did talk about before, due to a non-payment of 144 million euros before taxes by some investment partners involved. The club closes the 2023-24 consolidated result with a net loss of 91 million euros. And as well, let me bring you guys the final interesting achievements from Barcelona. We've reduced the wage bill by 170 million euros, from 670 million euros to over 500 million. That's absolutely fantastic. We've recorded sponsorship deals worth more than 210 million euros. Increased revenue from BLM and everything. Profits from the sales of Dembele, Kessie, Nico, Abde, Riyad, and Marque. And obviously, playing at the Estadio Montjuic has decreased Barcelona's revenue by more than 100 million and everything. But when Barcelona they will be returning to the Spotify cap. Now those revenues will be increased. Right there it says the projected payroll for the 2024 season remains stable at approximately 500 million and everything. The club forecasts a positive ordinary result of 5 million euros for the 2024-2025 season, enduring a positive EBITDA rating, which will lay the foundations for the 2025-26 season, when a new structure for generating revenue out of the redeveloped Spotify cap now will be fully operational. And I've thrown a lot of details to you guys, but the most important thing to take out of it, as you guys can see right here, is that Barcelona, they are financially recovering. We are getting closer to financial stability, and this is something that you do have to give credit to Joan Laporta and his boards. I know some of his decisions always haven't been the best, but one thing has been clear, that they do care about the club and they are making progress to restore Barcelona to financial stability. But now, guys, the last piece of news that I did want to talk to you guys is in regards to Hansi Flick's words ahead of that match against Young Boys in the Champions League. And he talks about Frenkie de Jong, because as I said in my previous video, Frenkie de Jong, he is set to return in that match against Young Boys. He is going to be in the squad, and Hansi Flick confirms that. He says it's very good news. Having Frenkie back in the team is very important. We've had many injured players, and after October, we'll recover 3 players. We're happy when players return. It will be good for Frenkie to be back with the team to help the younger ones. If he gets the chance, he might play. I don't know if he'll play 45, 20, or 10 minutes. That's just going to depend on how the match goes. He says, with Frenkie, we have to see how the game goes. And that's precisely what I said. How the game is going will depend on how many minutes Frenkie de Jong gets, and also how Frenkie de Jong is feeling. But even if he doesn't get minutes tomorrow against Young Boys, then I wouldn't be surprised if he gets Young Boys he gets minutes in the match after. Apologies for that. Hansi Flick now talks about Eric Garcia, who will be missing tomorrow's match against Young Boys due to that suspension. He says, with Eric's suspension, we've lost a midfielder. In midfield, it's important not to make mistakes. We have to impose our style of play. Talk about the team's mistake in a little bit more detail. He says, if we make mistakes like we did against Osasuna, it will be harder to defend. We must avoid errors in ball circulation. And hopefully with the starters available, Barcelona, they won't be committing so many mistakes. And with an experienced backline and with an experienced midfield, hopefully we'll be able to avoid those same mistakes that we did make against Osasuna. And he talks about facing Young Boys. He says, we've turned the page on the defeat against Monaco. Against Young Boys, we'll start with the best possible team. We've analyzed the Swiss team in detail. They have great players and a very organized, well team. And that's the pressure that Young Boys can exert. And the last quote from Hansi Flick is in regards to Szczesny, because he says, I don't talk about players who are not yet in the team. Players at Barca cannot receive guarantees of being starters. And right there, Hansi Flick pointing that even though Szczesny, who is coming back from retirement, who has already done his medicals. There's images and photos of him already in Barcelona, undergoing those medicals and everything. Hansi Flick pointing that there is going to be competition for that starting goalkeeper position, and both Iñaki and Szczesny are going to be at the top of the game in order to win over Hansi Flick's trust and win over that starting goalkeeper position. But guys, that was it for the Barcelona news of the day. What do you guys make of everything that I discussed on today's video? Barcelona renew Marc Bernal's contract as well. They released a statement talking about Barcelona's financials, in which there have been some losses, there have been some positives, but at the end of the day, Barcelona, they're getting closer and closer to financial stability. And the last piece of news or quote from Hansi Flick in regards to Frenkie de Jong recovering, and some other quotes in regards to tomorrow's match against Young Boys. But guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, guys.